Assembly,
Yes, ma'am.
we're about to open the meeting.
Okay.
It's 10 o'clock, and I'm going to call this meeting to order and ask you all to please stand for the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Your recommendation to approve the agenda, so
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We've got 3 items on my agenda for today on the superintendent's report. But the first one, we've got a very special group of employees here with us today. We remember back during the 4th 9 weeks when we were not able to have school during that time. One of the things that came up at the very beginning was the fact that we would still need to make sure that our children's nutritional needs were met. And our employees who are here today worked tirelessly throughout the 4th 9 weeks to make sure that our students were able to receive their nutritional needs during that time. And so at this time, I'd like to ask our Director of Child Nutrition, Alex Hallmark, to come forward so we can recognize the special group of employees.
Okay, so this, starting, I guess it was March the 19th was our first day to serve meals. To the end of June, we served over 171,000 meals to lunches to kids, 169,000 breakfasts, and almost 3,000 adult meals. So these ladies were very busy. And it was a transition from traditional. In 3 days, we had to change our mindset from serving kids in a line to figuring out how we were going to get these meals in bags, use the inventory that we had, and pass them out while keeping food safety in mind. And I can't condone them enough. They did an amazing job and did it without one complaint. And were innovative and found ways to do it better, found ways to do it easier, came up with awesome ideas, and also wanted to do new recipes and things like that throughout the whole time. So I'm very, very proud to be their leader and to be on their team. So start with calling these out. Okay. Phyllis Stafford, team leader. Angela Hughes, team leader at Chickasaw Elementary. Sylvia Isbell, she's one of our new team leaders at Chickasaw Elementary. Christine Blake, Helen Bumpus, she's a new team leader at Doris Crawford, known as Peaches at UCA. Kristen Hill, Greenbrook Elementary. Peggy Barker, Hernando Elementary. Teresa Nove, South Haven Middle.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yes. You ready? I'm gonna take 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. I like how she's holding her. Thank you.
Right, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Kendall Moore, Hernando Hills Elementary. Tina Sell, she's the team leader at Hernando Middle. She couldn't make it today. Cindy Powell, Horn Lake Elementary. Michelle Daniel, Horn Lake Intermediate. Lori Wilson, Horn Lake Middle. Marsha Karras, Lake Carmen Elementary. Dana Carter, Horn Lake High. And Dana is now, this year, she's gonna be an area supervisor, so she's left her duty. Jonathan Johnson, at Carmen Middle. Bernita Swapshire, Lewisburg Middle. Connie Wages, Lewisburg Primary. Teresa Connor, known as TT.
Zeros. Zeros. Please. Okay, we're gonna take 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Great job, ladies.
Lori Brewer, Lewisburg Primary. Jamie Wood. Oh, there you are. Jamie Oak Grove. Kimberly Williams, Olive Branch Elementary. Patricia Johnson, Olive Branch High. Virginia Harden, Olive Branch Intermediate. Amanda Pasco, Olive Branch Middle. Henry Jones, Overpark Elementary. Erica Capers Moon, Pleasant Hill Elementary. Palmer High.
Thank you.
You do a picture.
Sounds good.
Come on.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Lynn Gossett, South Haven Elementary. Rita Stewart, she is taking Miss Lynn's footsteps at South Haven. Dorothy Martin, South Haven High. Pam Hudson, South Haven Intermediate. Pitts, DeSoto Central Middle. Patty Howell, South Haven Middle. And then the next group of ladies are our area supervisors. So Brett Withrow. LaTanya Thomas. Becky Moore. And Julie Dean. And I do want to recognize Chrissy Anderson from Walls, Kertiza Hall, Center Hill High, Denise Boyd, Center Hill Middle, Sheila Anderson, Hope Sullivan, and Kim Dukes, Horn Lake High.
Look at her ear.
Any of our board members like to comment?
What's on the shirts?
What's on the shirts? Miss Hallmark, what does it say?
It says COVID-19 will not keep lunch legends down.
Everybody remember my face, don't remember my hair color, because it might change. But if we get to come to your school to eat lunch, remember my face. Well, the COVID might keep us from doing it, but. Okay. That's a lot to say.
Right. We appreciate seriously all that you have done and how quickly you did the turnaround on that. Because when we first heard, now we're going to be feeding students. This may take weeks to implement, but it was a mere matter of just a few days before it was up and running. And so congratulations to y'all. Thank you for all of your hard work. Thank you for all your hard work in the upcoming year. Congratulations to our retiree. We appreciate all that y'all do. Y'all are such a huge part of our team. And we're about to get on with the rest of the business of the meeting. We'll be here for about 2 hours. So if you'd like to go, now would be a great time to go. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got Mr. Jerry White, Director of Plant Maintenance, for our update.
Thank you, Mr. Holston. Good afternoon. See if I can figure out how to get this thing.
Getting closer to the finish line, Mr. White.
I'm sorry, I realize that. Here we go. Okay, Okay, we'll start out talking about Olive Branch football field today. This is the last picture that we reported on where we were at the field at that point in time, where we were just removing all the old turf that was there. And this is where we were last week when we took the picture. As you can see in the top right-hand corner out there, we're still doing a little undercut where we found some bad soil when we improved over this field, so we dug it out and replaced it with good soil. The rug is actually due in today, and it'll take about 2 to 3 weeks to install it, so we should be in good shape there to getting it done on time before school starts. This is also Olive Branch High School. We're doing a roofing job out there, and as you can tell, one wing is completely done. And as we move along to the next shot, you can see they're making good progress in the second wing that they're working on. And this shows a picture of the whole thing. The other 2 wings, we're pushing hard to try to get the other 2 wings done as close to when the school starts as possible. The fact where we won't interfere with student activity. There will be some smell in the schools after students start from the tar that's being put on the top of the building or whatever, but the amount of noise on the building should not amount to that much. We're hoping to get that thing, completed, in the fall. Next one we'll talk about is Fernando Middle School. We've made a lot of progress out there over the last few weeks with the school. This is the last picture that we showed you during our last report. And this is where we are today, on this. Permanent power has been completed. The windows will be completed by Tuesday this week. That's the schedule. Ceiling grids in, awning, sidewalks are being put in, as you can see there now, a lot of outside work going on here. They plan to load a lot of the students right there where the awning is coming out between the 2 buildings. We're trying to get all of that completed and done before the school starts. This is inside, as you can see, the city grid's in, the lights have been hung. And now that we've got the permanent power, it will start moving rapidly on the inside, and the fact that we can, start the final painting and actually laying the final in this building. This is, you can see one of the rooms here where we've already got the whiteboard in place and ready to go. So this building it's going to be close. It's going to go down to the 12th hour, but I actually believe it's a really good chance of getting this building completed by the time the school starts. They made a lot of progress in the last 2 weeks. The next one is the DeSoto Central Middle 8 classroom addition here. This is where we were at the last meeting. And this is where we are today. This picture from our fall. They're completely done here, as you can see on the roof. Got the HVAC intact. The brick is 90% completed. There's a little bit left on the back side that you can't see. This it's not in, but it should be done by Tuesday or Wednesday. And the windows will be put in at that point in time. They can start on the inside. I met with Murphy and Sons last week on Monday, particularly on these 2 middle school buildings, since we're so close, and I asked them if they could get into a 2-minute drill for us and really put a push on for us. They've actually hired Woodfield Electric to come in and help with the electric company that was already there to try to get moving along as fast as possible. So they are working with us, trying to do their best on both of these middle schools. They're going to be just really close. It's always in our business, it goes down to the 12 hours. Next one is Fernando Elementary School. This is a picture where we left you last week. We backed up off a quick on the trigger on that one. This is where we left you last week, and the next slide is the same room to show you how much progress that they've made here. That room is completely ready to go. We're completely ready out there except for one room that still lacks a little tile in it. And of course, we got to come back and do a little bit of cleanup and waxing. As you can see, the door hardware is not on, but it is on site. So they'll be completely through this building. It should be this week. As you can see, they worked on the outside and also had all the side done. Right at the front of the picture there, all of that is new side, of course, both sides of the building. Like just a little bit, they ran outside like one row, so that should be done completely this week. So they've done a good job of getting this By the way, on that particular one, when I back it up one slide, the interior doors are not in for this building. You can see they hadn't been hung. The truck line actually lost them. We reordered them and they shipped them internationally now, yes, ma'am. And, if it's not one problem, another one will raise its head. The first flashing door should be in this.
What will the transition from that hallway be? Will it be any type of, would this be a straight transition from classroom to classroom, or is there a little bit of a gap, two double doors in the hallway, or how's it?
It will come right out. If you can see here, I don't know, well, we don't have a shot back that way, but it will come straight out there. It will be a small little, I say like 4 to 6 foot between that and where the other hallway joins up. Next one is Lewisburg Middle School. This is where we were at the last meeting. As you can see over on the left side, they had the doors set and it had started up on the blocking. On the wing B on the right side, they had the footing done and had the termite control set. And so we were ready to go and pour the slab at the last meeting. They have since poured that slab. As you can see, they've got the door frame set in there already also. Back to wing A on the left side there, you can see they started up with the block door. Brought in the extra mason people this past week. We have about, including peppers, I think it's probably 12 masons and 8 peppers out there now. So we got a small group to start with, and they didn't have much to actually do. Now they rock and roll, so we've got them out around. So they'll really start coming up with this building now. Wing C in the back part back there on your left, you can see the footings are going in, and they're planning for that thing's probably later on this week or first of next week. Over on the right side on wing D, all the plumbing has been done, and of course they'll start digging the footings and all there and getting ready to get that wing completed also. Then after that, they of course start in the middle in the commons area and office area and behind it all together. Same shot, this is a little different angle. As you can see, the housing on the left side, I think I kind of mentioned at the last meeting about some people had the pools in the backyard. And we were kind of concerned about all the dust we were going to raise out there, but as wet as it was, during the spring, we didn't raise a whole lot of dust, so we didn't have first complaint. So I'd like to thank the people who live in those houses right there beside us for being patient. Next one is the South Central High School 9th grade building. This is where we were at last board meeting. You can see the brick on this side was done. They actually had trouble getting in enough brick to finish it. We lost some brick time, but they should be finished with it this week. On the right side of it, there you can tell that they're finishing up. As I noticed, as I went by the building this morning, they threw on that and working on the front side of it, so they should be finished this week on the brick. The windows are in, as you can see on the bottom, actually over the weekend, they got the windows in on the top on this side also. We still like having the permanent power there. I gave them the easement back, the power company back, I don't know, some 3 weeks ago, and they still don't have it turned on yet. And that's the making over for us right now. We need that on so we can start laying the tile and stuff in the inside and getting the paint done. So hopefully we'll get powered up, in the next day doing this thing.
How many additional classrooms?
It's going to be 23 additional job, and then office areas and lounge areas and stuff like that also. It's a big operation.
Yes.
As you can see, they made a lot of progress here. As you can see, the ceiling tile and lights are in some areas of the building, and they've got the ceiling grid, ceiling tiles sitting there. It's what's in the boxes. As soon as the grid's they've brought that in, it will take a minute to get it done. So they're moving pretty good there. The point being, and here where you see this glass going in, and that's in the connector hall between the two buildings. That should be done this week, hopefully also. But there's still an awful lot to be done in this building. Even when we get inside, it will not be ready to open day of school. As I said, I met with working sons last week, and we've come up with a date that we think would be the closest where they can start letting us into the school and start putting the furniture in it, that's somewhere around the 17th of August. I delayed the furniture until the 17th of August. They should be shipping in there, and which will have to all be put together in stages. I think by the 1st of September, we'll be able to put students in this building, but it is what it is today. That's my report for today. I'll be glad to try to answer any questions that you have might have.
What, with all the construction going on, what does it kick our capacity up to?
Where's the what now?
What does it elevate our capacity up to?
You know, I did not run a figure on that. I don't know what the capacity is. You can figure, 23 classrooms of the capacity, put, let's say on average, 25, 30 children in there, students in there. So, 30 times 23, that's about some 600 students who are put in there. And it's well needed because the area is, as you well know, the area is growing. It seems like every year from the middle school, the class coming from the middle school is the graduating class that is going out of the high school. So this is going to continue to add. And this should put us in good shape for a long period of time.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. White.
Sir.
Great job. Have you got an update on the Olive Branch turf?
Yeah, on the turf, it's scheduled to be in today, hopefully it'll be here. It takes about 2 weeks, to get it completed. 3 weeks to know, so we'll have it done.
And all the waxing, you feel good about the waxing?
I do, they're completely done in all of the schools except for South Haven High School and South Haven Middle School. And what they like is some hall work there. And they'll finish that up this week and be completely done. What we're doing is we're holding this cleanup crew, or this summer cleanup crew, which we've never done before. We're holding them in the schools this year. And what they will be doing between now and the time the school's open is they will be wiping down the desks with, disinfectant, making sure that our schools are all in tip-top shape and well students should.
Mr. White, doing a great job. Excellent job. Thank you.
This time I would like to ask Ms. Amanda Sample to come forward. She will be giving us an update on Schoology, our new learning management system.
Good morning, and you all have a copy of the PowerPoint with you, and let me see if I'm not driving my own car right now, so let's see if I can get out of this. Okay, so today I'm going to give you a quick overview and introduction to our learning management system, which is called Schoology. So on our first slide, it gives us the actual pronunciation, because as we began this process, I was calling it Schoology, but it is Schoology. And so Schoology is our learning management system, which creates a place for us to house all of our tools that we need to create engaging content, design lessons, and assess our students' understanding. So we have started this process back in April. We had 2 committees that really looked at learning management systems, and we also requested and received feedback from our teacher advisory council members, present and past, to get input from them about what they would like to see in a learning management system. So typically, the we go back. In the onboarding and adoption process typically takes about 9 months. I'm happy to report that we've been able to do that in about 6 weeks. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things that have to take place with the technical and platform setup. So I would like to really commend our MIS department and our technology department for working together and report that today we did send out login information to our teachers. And so I'll talk a little bit about that in just a second, but I wanted you to see that you go through these stages, and typically that Schoology said, okay, usually we do this in 9 months, but across the country, we're learning how to do this very quickly and execute, so we have been able to get that out very quickly. So, looking at the vision, so what is our vision for using a learning management system? We want to make sure that we're optimizing student learning through the effective use of all of our digital resources. And so we're very blessed to have many digital resources already. So when you start thinking about a learning management system, it creates a one-stop shop to access all of these things and creates that one place to go and receive everything you need. So we want to optimize student learning by having this in one place. And so through this, we're also able to provide professional learning. We're able to embed our curriculum framework and create that student-centered learning, provide assessment and feedback, and engage our parents, students, and communities through one platform. Okay, and next you see our roadmap for success, and you can see that we have started our implementation team training in June and July. We have train the trainer sessions and onboarding process and administrator training going on simultaneously all at the same time. So that also started in July. Our introduction to teachers are starting this week, and will continue after our PowerSchool integration of courses loaded into the platform. So that is taking place as we speak. Teacher trainings going on between July and August. We will have on-site trainings in the school buildings during the professional development days. We actually have a training this afternoon in Central Services today, and we're doing some via Zoom, some in person, and then some online. So we have several opportunities going on to train our teachers. And then we'll introduce this to our students the first days of school. And then we also have tutorial videos being prepared to post on our district website for our parents, and information will be sent to them as well. And so this will be ongoing, and then when we get to the end of the road there, it doesn't stop. The road will keep going, and we have ongoing PD and collaboration opportunities for all. At this time, I'd like to also point out that this has been a true Team DCS effort between our business department, our MIS department, technology, academic. We've all been working together to make sure that this transition is smooth, rollout and implementation is as smooth as possible. I also wanted to provide a copy of the introduction letter to our teachers that gives information. We are moving to a single sign-on for our teachers and our students, which is very beneficial in many ways, and that is where our Office 365 logs you into everything. So no longer, this helps you have one password you have to remember instead of maybe 30. So that does give them directions on how to access Schoology and how to log in, and some benefits of the platform. Next is an example of the introduction letter to students that will be shared as we begin welcoming students back to school, whether they are in the traditional model or the virtual model. So this information will be shared with our students at the beginning of the school year. Once again, some benefits of having a learning management system and using Schoology is communication. This helps connect students, teachers, administrators, and parents in one platform. It's engaging. It also makes it easy to collaborate and share resources quickly, but teachers can join groups and share with one another. You can have groups from across the district. So, for example, if our counselors are wanting to share information with one another, if they create something that's working very well, they can quickly share that in those groups. And then instruction. It simplifies teaching and learning with all instructional tools in one place. So we like to think of it as a house for all of our content and resources, and it just creates that consistent place for educators to share and receive information. Educators, students, and parents to receive and share information. So it does not replace any of the things that we've been using in the past. It just simply helps us house it and be more efficient and effective rolling it out. I wanted you to see a sample of what it looks like. So this is actually my account. So if you go in and you see that we have some sandbox courses. So since I do not have any live courses right now, I can play in my sandbox and learn how to use the program and use the platform. And then Ms. Nosson enrolled me as a student in her sandbox course, so I can go in and see what that looks like as a student as well. So this is what, when you log in across the top, you'll see our logo, you'll see the information for courses, groups, resources, and tools. And then, so students can go, so if you're thinking like a student, you log in and you click on the course that you're going to. But within that course, I wanted to share, this is actually on my hallway, my next door neighbor, I'm next door neighbor to our SPED department, and so they have been building courses and they enrolled me in there. So when I log in, I can click on the course and then I can go to the folders. And so thinking as a student, and depending on the grade level, teachers can either put week 1, day 1, they can label that however they want to make the flow for their class. So think of it as like a trapper keeper with your folders inside that trapper keeper, it's just digital.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, on sandbox, section 1A, section 1. Now, what is going in the sandbox back up here? What will be going in the sandbox?
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next slide. So they can put in there, they can, so think of like the sandbox would be like, I'm pulling out my binder for English 1. So it's like your binder, that's my course. And so within there, I'm gonna have folders or tabs based on if the teacher wants to say week 1, day 1, or if they wanna say, however they wanna set up their flow for the class. So it's, the course is gonna be like the sandbox, and then you open it up, and that's gonna be what's inside your folder, your content. Any other questions about that? So, and last but not least, we are very excited and we look forward to seeing how Schoology can transform our classrooms and enhance learning for all of our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Samples. Great presentation.
Sure was. And I probably jumped the gun, but if I don't ask you what is on my mind, I completely forget.
I do not mind at all.
Thank you.
Ms. Samples, we're glad to answer any questions y'all have over the next few weeks as it's implemented. And because there will be questions that come up, we'll be asked questions, and she's always available to help our board members when it comes up along the way. And that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you. The attorney's report.
Yes, ma'am, we have a contract litigation matter to discuss in executive session.
Next on our agenda is to approve the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for June 18th board meeting?
I make that motion that we approve the June 18th board meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. The consent agenda is before you. There are corrections. It's item A to item JJ. Triple J. Mr. Simpson, your recommendation, please, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Under new business, Ms. Reed, get your stool and come forward. You'll be here a while. Thank you. Item A, architectural services for Alabama Cultural. Classroom additions to DeSoto Central Primary School.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission from the board to enter into an agreement with Allen and Cultural to provide architectural services for the addition of 4 classrooms at DeSoto Central Primary School.
Your recommendation recommendation, sir?
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the use of architectural services from Allen Moschel for the classroom additions at DeSoto Central Primary School.
Do I have a motion to approve this architectural services?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions, Mr. Williams? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Permission to advertise for bids for DeSoto Central Primary.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission from the board to advertise for bids for the classroom addition at DeSoto Central Primary School.
Might I ask how many classrooms? 4. Your recommendations.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve advertising for bids for the classroom additions at DeSoto Central Primary School.
I have a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Architectural services for Allen Moschel for Lewisburg High School.
Yes, ma'am, requesting permission to enter into an agreement with Allen Hope to provide architectural services for the addition of 4 classrooms at Lewisburg High School.
Your recommendation, sir?
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the use of architectural services from Allen Moschel for the classroom additions at Lewisburg High School.
Do I have a motion for the architectural services for Lewisburg High School?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Permission to advertise for bids at Lewisburg High School.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to advertise for bids on the classroom addition at Lewisburg High School.
Recommendations.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve advertising for bids for the classroom additions at Lewisburg High School.
Have a motion to approve the permission to advertise.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? How many here?
4.
Great, we're going, we're gonna be building everything. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Architectural services at Pleasant Hill Elementary.
Yes, ma'am, requesting permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement with Allen Hope to provide architectural services for the addition of 4 classrooms at Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the use of architectural services from Allen Moschel for the classroom additions at Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
You have a motion for the architectural services for Pleasant Hill.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Permission to advertise for bids for Pleasant Hill Elementary.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to advertise for bids on the classroom addition at Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
Your recommendations.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the advertising for bids for the classroom additions at Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
Do I have a motion to approve permission to advertise for these bids?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Architectural services for 10 classrooms at Hernando High School.
Yes, ma'am, requesting permission from the board to enter into an agreement with Allen Hope to provide architectural services for the addition of 10 classrooms at Fernando High School.
Recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the architectural services from Allen Moschel for the 10 classrooms building at Hernando High School.
Do I have a motion for the architectural services for Hernando High School?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Permission to advertise for bids to the detached 10-classroom building at Hernando High School.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to advertise for bids for the detached 10-classroom addition at Hernando High School.
Recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the advertising for bids for the detached 10-classroom building at Hernando High School.
Do I have a motion? Thank you.
Ready.
It was. I have a second.
Second.
Anybody have any questions? Where are we gonna put this
Yes.
detached building? That's,
Once you come off the, side of the manhole in another flat spot, we'll be heading south.
yeah,
Put a connector, like a middle, or hand a middle now, to connect the joint, but just, your walkway, basically a driveway, place you can drive, but it.
and while Mr. White will have pictures.
Yeah.
It will be running parallel to Mackinville. Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries with permission to advertise architectural services for HVAC lighting and controls at South Central Elementary School.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission from the board to enter into an agreement with Allen and Cultural to provide architectural services for the HVAC lighting and controls replacement project at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the architectural services of Allen Oshel for the HVAC lighting and controls replacement at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
Okay, I need a motion for the architectural services for the lighting and the controls at South Central Elementary. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Permission to advertise for bids for the lighting.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to advertise for bids for the HVAC lighting and control replacement at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
Your recommendation.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the advertising for bids for the HVAC lighting control replacement at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
Do I have a motion to allow permission to advertise for these bids?
I make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Architectural services, Allen Motion re-roof project of Chickasaw Elementary.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission from the board to enter into an agreement with Allen and Cultural to provide architectural services for the re-roof project at Chickasaw and build the entire roof that will re-roof.
Your recommendation.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the use of architectural services of Allen Oshel for the re-roof project at Chickasaw Elementary School.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Permission to advertise for the re-roof bids.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to advertise for bids for the re-roof project at Chickasaw Elementary School.
Recommendation.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the advertising for bids for the re-roof project at DeSoto Elementary School.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? Anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Give permission to advertise for the bids. Architectural services for Allen and Moschel re-roof project at DeSoto Central Elementary.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to advertise for bids for the re-roof project at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the use of architectural services of Allen Oshel for the re-roof project at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions? Is this the entire building too?
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. For Allen and Moschel to have architectural services. Permission to advertise for bids for the re-roof project at DeSoto Central Elementary.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to advertise for bids for the re-roof project at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the advertising for bids for the re-roof project at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
Do I have permission to advertise for these bids? I need a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Permission to advertise for bids. Architectural services to re-roof Horn Lake Intermediate.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission from the board to enter into an agreement with Allen and Moschel to provide architectural services for the re-roof project at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the use of architectural services of Allen Oshel for the re-roof project at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
Do I have a motion to approve architectural services for this project?
So moved.
And a second. Do you have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Permission to advertise for bids to re-roof Horn Lake Intermediate School.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to advertise for bids for the re-roof project at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
Recommendation.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the advertising for bids for the re-roof project at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
I have a motion for the permission to advertise for bids.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries for permission to advertise. Now we're finished with for a while. Bids for copyright ministry.
Yes, ma'am, bids were open on July 14th for copy paper for the 2021 school year. My recommendation is accept the lowest and best bid from Jackson Paper Company.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid copy paper for the 2020-2021 school year from Jackson Paper Company.
Do I have a motion to approve the bids for copy paper for 2020?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the bids. Bids for HVAC replacement at Lewisburg High School.
Yes, ma'am, bids were open on July 14th for the replacement of HVAC units at Lewisburg High School. My recommendation is accept the lowest and best bid from S&G Heating and Plumbing.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the bids for the HVAC replacement at Lewisburg High School, Lewis Invested SNG heating and plumbing.
Do I have a motion to approve the bids for the HVAC replacement?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Bids approved, motion carried. Bids for the networks for 2020.
This man is working on the 14th of July for the purchase of netbooks for this district. We had further discussion with the lowest bidder. It was determined by the commitment that they were not able to fulfill the bid obligation due to their inability to meet the bid specifications. Therefore, my recommendation is to accept the second lowest and best bid from CDWG.
The recommendation, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the bid for netbooks for the 2021 school year from CDWG.
Do I have a motion to approve the bid for the networks?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Does anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries for the bids approved for the network. Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Thank you.
Get your drink of water and get back.
I'll be right back.
You get to come back.
Coming back.
Spray. Compared to everybody?
As brave as you're gonna have to be able to walk those lines. If we're spending this money.
Speaking of which, we haven't been allocated money yet. But thankfully, our financial team does a great job, so we're ready to live payroll.
Yes.
And the good news is for the, before I get into that, by law, was Mr. Keith may already have explained that to you, by law, regardless if they pass a bill, the state still has to fund education. So we will get our MAP, we will get everything, you know, that we need. We don't exactly know how much at this point, but, we know we won't be any worse off than last year, so, everybody will get paid at the end of the month, so we're happy about that. Our revenue collections and our general fund so far through May is at $245,432,687. We are up 8% over last year, which was at $227,526,401. That's mainly due to Avalon and MAP, of course. Our budget general fund revenues were at $254,032,866, and we have already received 97% of our revenues at the end of May. We will go over 100% at the end of June, of course. All revenues received at this point are from all funds, are $290,736,308. We are up 4% over last year for all revenues. Last year was at $279,062,680. That's 93% of what we had budgeted at $311,189,567. Our ad valorem so far for the year, we're up about $8.5 million over last year. And they are expecting about 3 to 4% growth for next year as well. We'll be bringing in the award order for our ad valorem request at the next quarter. Our general fund expenditures so far through May are $213,923,239. Last year, we're up 6% over last year. We were at $201,621,975. We expected to be about 8 to 9% over last year. So COVID and just conservative spending, along with our budgeting process, we are well under where we need to be. All fund expenditures are $265,941,266. We're about 70% for the year of what we budgeted, but remember we do have June and July teacher payroll that will still be.
Expenditures.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for May 2020.
Do I have a motion to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to approve revenue and expenditures. Statement of cash flow. Mrs. Graves.
Our district maintenance cash balance, through the end of May is $113,781,508. Of that, our invested balance with Smith Shellnut is at $27,913,575. And despite the, markets, we do continue to grow. All funds cash balance is $186,883,790. And our district account, makes up about 61% of our total cash balance.
Any recommendations, sir?
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the statement of cash flow for May 2020.
A motion to approve the statement of cash flow for May 2020.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to pass statement of cash flow. Combined balance sheet for May 2020. Ms. Graves?
The fund balance for all general funds through May is $119,493,004. We are up 9% over last year at this time. We're very excited about that. $109,895,860. Our all funds fund balance is at $183,722,731. So going into June, which we can always see ahead in July, we're very grateful for our fund balance. So that coupled with the state and federal funding, Soto Schools in very good shape to better, really better.
Yes, sir. Anybody needs to be in better shape. Recommendation on combined balance sheet.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the combined balance sheet for May 2020.
Do I have a motion to approve the combined balance sheet for May 2020?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions?
Stacy, are you still pleased with our investment
Very much.
return?
Very, very much. We expected to see a larger downturn than we have, and it just continued to grow. Of course, again, we're limited to safe investments, but, they are, making an excellent job.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the combined balance sheet. Thank you, Ms. Graves. Now, Ms. Hasselman. Have some policies, please. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, okay. Board policy JVD and the compulsory school attendance law requires schools to report daily attendance with the assumption that students are physically present in school. For the 2020-2021 school year, we are requesting that physical presence not be required for students who choose the distance learning option. Students who opt for distance learning will be marked present if the student is authenticated through and engaged in the district-wide learning management system Schoology for a minimum of 240 minutes daily. This attendance policy waiver is being requested solely for full-time distance learning students who are utilizing an education option that is in effect only because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Your recommendations.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the memo for policy JVD for tennis tardiness and excuses.
I need a motion to approve this board policy as JVD.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second.
Second.
Anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes to approve policy JVD. Policy for private units.
Yes, ma'am. The Mississippi Department of Education suspended the seat time requirement for a minimum of 140 hours of instruction required for a full Carnegie unit and 70 hours for each half Carnegie unit offered for the 2021 school year. Districts are required to develop a plan to ensure mastery of content for each Carnegie unit awarded. We're asking for the board to waive the requirement of 140 hours and 70 hours outlined in board policy JFA Carnegie unit, and to approve the attached mastery of content learning plan in lieu of that policy for the 2020-2021 school year only. Upon approval, the plan will be posted on the district website as required by the Mississippi Department of Education.
And this is just for this year.
Only for this school year, yes, ma'am.
Your recommendations, sir, about board policy, JFA.
Madam Secretary, I recommend to the board to approve the memo for board policy JFA for Carnegie unit for 2021 school year.
Do I have a motion to approve this board policy?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Policy, four ayes carried. Board policy JFA is approved. Ms. Hasselman, policy on IJ.
Yes, ma'am, this is a new proposed policy. This policy outlines the terms and conditions for any user who is provided a district-owned device in order to have access to distance learning assignments. We're asking that you waive the 2 readings of the policy outlined in Board Policy BD and adopt this policy as written, as it is in the best interest of DeSoto County schools due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the option for distance learning.
Do we have to have motion to waive our policy because we're going to approve this on first reading?
You can just put that in your motion to approve this.
Okay. Your recommendations.
Madam Secretary, I recommend that the board approve the waiving of the 2 readings to board policy BD and approve the new board policy IJ for technology and instruction, electronic information resources.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Does anybody have any questions of that policy? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The policy passed with the waivers. One more, Jane, and the new board policy.
Yes, ma'am, this is the seal of biliteracy policy. This policy allows graduates of DeSoto County schools to be recognized as being proficient in multiple languages and was presented on July 2nd as a first read. There were no public comments, therefore we're asking that you adopt this policy as written.
Your recommendations.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the new board policy JNB for the seal of biliteracy.
New board policy, do I have a motion for J and the new board policy?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Rescind board policy JACD.
Yes, ma'am, this was our GED program. We are asking for consideration of rescission because the district no longer offers a GED program.
Recommendations, sir.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the rescission of board policy JCD for the GED program.
Do you have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Does anybody have any questions about this policy? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion asked to rescind policy for rescinded. Okay, 2021 school calendar.
Yes, ma'am, based on Ms. Sample's presentation and the feedback we have received from our principals, we're asking the board to revise the school calendar to include additional professional development days at the beginning of the year. This will allow teachers more time to familiarize themselves and prepare for the use of Schoology with all students. The revised calendar will now have teachers returning on August 3rd and students returning on August 10th. November 3rd will be a distance learning day for all students. An extra day will be added at the end of the year, with the student's last day being May 25th and the teacher's last day being May 26th.
Recommendations.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board to approve the 2021 school calendar as presented.
Do I have a motion to approve this changed school calendar?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any questions? Me. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to change the school calendar. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think we got our bandits in order. Residents here, Bill, Mr. Caldwell.
Yes, ma'am, I have one item to be discussed in executive session.
Personnel. You get to
Back,
finally finish it.
personnel, pages 1 through 8, the recommendations, pages 9 through 11 will be personnel changes. Page 12 is a memo from Mr. Alexander that addresses salary corrections for the FY21 school year. Memo, page 13 is a memo from Mr. Alexander listing additional units for the upcoming school year. Page 14 will be a memo from the principal at Oliver High School. He requested to pay his ADA clerk. She came in on June the 1st to work for an hour, almost an hour and a half, inadvertently, and he would like to pay her for that time spent working. Page 15 is a memo from Ms. Eldridge requesting for teachers to be paid with a 1 full day of work. They spent that day working on the new testing platform. The teachers were inadvertently left off of the previous personnel package. Page 16 is a request for additional pay from the Director of Federal Program. For all teachers at one high school who will be working to analyze data for the school's bottom 25%. Page 17 is a request for additional pay from the Director of Federal Programs for teachers to work after school and the summer tutorial program at Palmer Home. Page 18 is a list of those teachers that will be working at Palmer Home. Page 19 and 20, page 19 and 20, are requests for additional pay from the Director of Special Education for teachers to work on pre-K assessment. Page 21 is a request for additional pay from the Assistant Superintendent on high school counselors who will work 40 hours, and they'll be working on dual credit deadlines. And page 22 is a list of those counselors, their names and the locations.
Recommendations.
Madam Secretary, I recommend the board approve personnel as presented.
Do I have a motion to approve personnel as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Personnel is approved. Presented. Now I need a motion to consider going into executive session for the attorney's matter of the Pacific Creek and the residential.
So moved.
All in favor?